Good morning. It is 8 a.m. on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, and I call the Economic Development Authority meeting to order. Item number 1 is the roll call. We have 4 members present, which is a quorum. Item 2.1 is the EDA May 13th, 2025 minutes.
Motion to approve.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3.1, administrative activities for May 2025.
Good morning, President Mark Graff and Commissioners. You have the report in your packet. I'll just point out a few items. Note under the public housing report, the annual waiting list purge has been completed, so you'll notice the waiting list dropped significantly for Broadway House and dropped a little bit for the family units. We didn't purge the Section 8 waiting list because that we've been issuing vouchers, so that waiting list is pretty current. Note under the EDA report, staff had a kickoff meeting with Better City for the EDA strategic plan, so that contract has been signed. We're meeting with them again this week, and then after that, they intend to send out a survey to the commissioners in the next week or two. So please be watching for that and try to get that completed and sent back in. So we're starting the process, and it's going to take about 6 months to get the final plan completed. So should have it done by year end. Note under, and also under the EDA report, the EDA lot sale was finalized at the end of May, so we no longer own the lots on North Broadway next to Broadway House. So later in the agenda, we'll be approving the public housing budget. We are now down to 3 budgets with the sale of Garden Terrace and the EDA lots. That was our rental budget, so we don't have to do that budget anymore. So now we'll be down to the EDA budget, the Section 8 budget, and the public housing budget. Under the Homebuyer Assistance Loan Program, note 1 loan closed, about $7,700. 3 new applications were received. We are going to be out of funds for that program once all those loans close. Note under the Get It Ready loan program, 1 new application was received. I do still have some funding available in that program. Note under the multifamily rental rehab loan program, a new application was received. I am out of funds for that program. I have another application that I'm working on, so this new application will go on a waiting list for next year's funds. End of report.
I had a question for you on the Section 8 Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. Mm-hmm. This month, we had quite an increase in revenue over expenses, which I assume is part of assuming those extra vouchers. Do you expect that to continue to be that much higher, or do you think it will even out? So it's been around 1,000 a month, and this month it was 16,000, or May it was 16,000.
Yeah, and I am questioning that number. I don't believe that to be correct, so I'm going to have to take a look at that. I had to actually ask for additional funding out of our reserve fund to cover our May payments, so I don't believe that we had a surplus of $16,000. That could be a typo. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that, but I don't think that's correct. But yes, we did take on those additional vouchers for Linderhof Apartments beginning May 1st, so that did change the report quite significantly this month. Oh, looking at that closer, the admin fee is where we have that $16,000. We did get additional funds in the admin fee side. Yes, you'll note for the housing assistance payments to landlords, we only had an extra $7. So that, with the additional money I requested, we had $7 left for the payments that go to landlords. The admin fee, we did get a one-time additional payment for the extra work that was involved in leasing up those vouchers.
Okay.
So, yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I haven't had enough coffee this morning.
I'll make a motion to accept the Economic Development Authority administrative activities for the month of May 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.1, Public Housing Operating Budget.
All right, like I mentioned, we'll have 3 budgets to approve this year. We always start with the public housing budget because our fiscal year ends June 30th, so this has to be approved and submitted to HUD by July 1st. The public housing budget covers the day-to-day operations of our 50 public housing units. 40 of those units are at Broadway House Apartments, and then the other 10 are at scattered site family units throughout New Ulm. The operating budget is for the upcoming fiscal year, July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Staff works with our fee accountant to put the budget together into the proper HUD format. Once approved, I will get that submitted to HUD. Note that the capital fund grants are not part of the operating budget. That is, those funds are separate. The proposed budget is a status quo compared to the current fiscal year. For the current year through May, we have a surplus of about $450,000. The projected surplus for the upcoming budget is about $126,000. The EDA has adequate reserve funds to address any out of the ordinary events that may occur. I think we have over $1 million in our public housing bank account right now, so we're in very good shape. Any questions on the budget or?
I have a question on the utilities. It's quite a bit more than what was budgeted in previous years. And with the solar panels, I thought we were expecting utilities to go down rather than up.
Let me open that up. So you're looking at the sheet that has the 2024 actual, the 2025 budget, and the 2026?
Correct.
Is that what you're looking at? I need to get to the utilities. Part of that, I know there's been some rate increases on the utilities. But also with the solar panel project, we also transitioned all of the electric bills that were in the tenant's name into the EDA's name. So, you know, we'll just have to see. We haven't had the solar panels for a full year yet, so I am starting to see negative utility bills coming in.
Okay.
So we do have credits sitting there. So, you know, once we have a full year under our belt, I think we'll have a better handle of where that's at.
Thank you.
Can you explain why we had that $454,000 excess or surplus compared to the 124 that was projected?
You know, I was surprised at that number. I know our maintenance person isn't working all of the hours that we had budgeted, so that's part of it, but it certainly wouldn't be that much. I just think we've been doing a good job managing our expenses. We're getting good interest income with the money in the bank. As that account grows, we continue to bring in more interest. So I just think it's a combination of things. I think it's one of the biggest surplus years I've seen in my time here. So,
Thank you.
To just follow up on the mayor's question, can we get that number looked at a little bit more closely, just because the total operating receipts that we budgeted were not even the 400,000. So
Sure.
just to have that verified.
Yeah, I can look into that and then I can send an email out
Okay.
with a more detailed explanation.
I mean, I don't want to, look at it too carefully. I'm glad to have the extra money, but,
Yeah, I can talk with the fee accountant and see if we can figure out why.
okay, thank you.
There's no other questions. I offer the resolution to adopt the public housing operating budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Director Bregel, please call the roll.
All right, Commissioner Christian,
Yes.
Commissioner Reinhardt Kalk,
Yes.
Commissioner Henn,
Yes.
President Markgraf.
Yes, motion carries. Item 4.2, EDA June 10th, 2025 claims list.
Being there's no discussion, I'll approve the EDA June 10, 2025 claims list.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.3, surplus property.
All right. At fiscal year end, the fee accountant always sends us our depreciation schedule or report and asks us to have a board resolution for any items we want taken off the depreciation report. I don't know, it's been quite a while since I've done that, but going through it this year, I am asking to declare surplus and remove from the depreciation report 5 refrigerators and 5 ranges that were purchased in 2010. We have replaced quite a few appliances this year. All of these items have a book value of 0, so I would just like to get them off the depreciation report. Entry area furniture purchased in 2003. We did replace that furniture with some COVID funds that we received. Replaced it with furniture that could be cleaned, getting rid of the cloth chairs and brought in more of like a vinyl chair. The snow blower and the lawn tractor, we got rid of those last year when we decided to hire outside contractors to do that work instead of our maintenance person. So those were given to other city departments. The 4th floor air conditioner unit was just replaced, so I'd like to take the old one off the depreciation report. And then one of the family unit furnaces purchased in 2003 was just replaced. So those are the items. Are there any questions on that? It's just sort of a routine item.
Sure, I'll offer a resolution declaring items as surplus property and authorize disposition pursuant to City Code 2.75 Subdivision 3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Resolution.
Oh, sorry, resolution. Director Bregel, please call the roll.
Commissioner Christian?
Yes.
Commissioner Reinhardt Kalk?
Yes.
Commissioner Henn?
Yes.
President Markgraf.
Yes, that motion carries. Item 5.1, Economic Development Activity Report.
All right, I'll just quickly go through this. The New Ulm Partnership met last month and had a discussion on the CEO program, creating entrepreneurial opportunities. I think I mentioned that last month. That's a program for high school juniors and seniors to get out and see what types of jobs are available in the community and sort of learn how to operate a small business. So we continue to look at bringing that program to New Ulm with our local school districts. Child care team met. We discussed some concerns with the cost of insurance for providers and centers. There was a center in Sleepy Eye that recently closed, sort of unexpectedly, when they got their insurance renewal, the cost had gone up so much they chose to close their doors. And so those parents were scrambling to find other places to get childcare for their children. So that sure doesn't help our issue with childcare shortages in the area. Our providers at Westridge Place are having a harder time getting insurance. I just had a new provider sign a lease out there, and she really had to shop around to even find someone that would insure her business. So that is getting to be more of a challenge, not just for Westridge Place, but for all providers and centers. Either they can't get coverage or the cost is so high, it's difficult to, make any kind of a profit. They already are paid very low wages the way it is, so it's discouraging. Moving on to the commercial property rehab loan program, one new application was received. Under the small business loan program, one new application was received. And then I'll just note that, like I mentioned, a new provider signed her lease at Westridge Place. Staff participated in an interview with Business View magazine, an article about New Ulm that should be airing later this summer. And Senator Klobuchar came and took a tour of Westridge Place. And like I mentioned earlier, the EDA lots on North Broadway have been sold. So, end of report.
I make a motion to accept the Economic Development Activity Report for May of 2025 activities.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There being no further agenda items, this meeting is dismissed.